Hello, my name is Chris. I am your friendly neighborhood Baba Duchess. I am a movie lover, horror blogger, drive-in mutant, and this is my horror channel. Today I will be talking about the movie Ready or Not, Here I Come, or Ready or Not 2. This is a sequel to 2019's Ready or Not, done by the duo Radio Silence. They have also brought us Scream 5 and 6, the movie Abigail, which was a lot of fun, and they got their start doing found footage short films. Like there was one, it's called October 31st, 98. They did for the first VHS movie, which is basically an anthology of found footage shorts. And they did the last one, which I really loved, about these friends that show up for a Halloween party only to realize that there is some sort of ritual going on in the attic and they are unable to escape the house. And I thought the reason why they weren't able to escape was really original. That one actually stood out to me. I didn't even realize that was theirs until very recently. They've also done a found footage short for the movie Southbound, which is another great anthology. So there is already a lot of great work under their belts. Ready or Not 2 continues that somewhat of a tradition of horror sequels that pick up immediately after the original. Things like Halloween 2, which picks up immediately after the original Halloween, all the way down to Halloween Kills, which picked up after the reboot, which I guess that's not really a part two, depending on your timeline, but also things like Evil Dead 2 or even Bride of Frankenstein. I do like when movies are able to do that, and especially in the case of Ready or Not 2, it really seems as if no time has passed between the making of the first and the second. Samara Weaving is back, and after just escaping her new in-laws, now she has been brought to the hospital where her estranged sister shows up, and Grace's predicament from the first movie seems to start all over again. Grace's sister Faith is played by Kathryn Newton. And yes, they do have a little fun at the fact that their names are Faith and Grace. So now both sisters are kidnapped from the hospital where Grace is being questioned, brought to yet another giant home, and explained some new rules. This time it isn't one family that's hunting her, it is all the families that have made this pact with the devil. And they are all competing for this high seat of this council. Once again, Grace must be dead by dawn. Dead by dawn. Dead! And the game continues from there. Kind of like a wash, rinse, repeat of the original movie, but they've added to it with more characters and you get a little more of the lore of this world. And most of this movie really did work. What really worked for me in particular was the cast. Everyone looked like they were having a lot of fun. Of course, you have the two main characters of Faith and Grace, but now we have added Elijah Wood, who is basically the lawyer to one of the families. He knows all the rules of this council. He knows what's really going on. You have Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Hoddesy as twins, who are both allowed to compete at the same time, when generally the rule is only one family member at a time representing each clan can compete. You have Nestor Carbonell and his two children. He's just clearly having a ball with this role. And yes, I have a major crush on Nestor Carbonell. I was lucky enough to meet him at a convention, and he is just as nice as you would hope he would be. And also, he is impossibly even more handsome than he is on screen. If he had asked me to run away right there and then, I think I might have. I'm not going to give it away, but there is a cameo in the beginning, which I really enjoyed. And Kevin Durand is also in it, who I wish they would have used him more. That's all I'm going to say about it. I also enjoyed they had the same rule from the first Ready or Not, where the family has to use whatever weapons were available at the time when they made their deal. And from that, you can see just how long or not these families have had this deal. You have one woman as the head of her family where she has a katana. You see the twins with these very 18th century looking guns. I thought that was a way to add a little more to the story without being exposition heavy. And again, I really did like that they have expanded the lore, but without stretching it too thin where it seemed like they were just being desperate to make a new one. Because did they really need a sequel to Ready or Not? No, but this one is a lot of fun and it really felt like a natural continuation. I don't know what else they would do from here, and I'm fine with that. But all in all, solid performances with a solid cast and a story that makes sense. Radio Silence is very good at giving you the horror, but also giving you some of the comedy that doesn't take away from the horror. It's a delicate balance that a lot of times when people try to make a horror comedy, which I would not classify this as, but sometimes they go too heavy on one or the other and they don't complement each other, so it doesn't work. But this has a very good balance. But speaking of being exposition heavy, this will lead into what I didn't care for. You have the relationship between Grace and Faith, which I really did think was done very well. But at the same time, there was some dialogue I felt that was exposition heavy. Maybe just a couple lines here and there that I think they could have cut back on. And as we got further and further, I liked having a little bit of the history between the sisters because we knew a tiny bit about Grace from the first movie. But like I said, just a couple times where it just seemed like there should be a neon sign above going exposition, exposition, exposition. And even though I thought all of the actors were very good, I felt that as the movie went on, Sean Hattasey, I didn't quite buy him as much towards the end. And I don't know what it was. I like him as an actor. I don't think this was down to ability. I don't know if it was writing. There was just something about it that by the end, I wasn't quite buying from him. But overall, this one really worked. I had a lot of fun. I liked getting a little more of a look at this world that's been created. Again, I don't know what they could do from here, and I don't know that they really should do anything from here because I really did like how this one ended. But if you like the first one, this one is that plus a little extra. I give it 3.5 top hats. I do give the original Ready or Not 4, and I think it earns that extra half a top hat just for being that original. So let me know what your thoughts are. Did you see this one? Did you think the original was better? Did you like this one better? Let me know. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment. I appreciate every little bit. And until next time, like what you like, don't be a dick, and empathy is a superpower.